She's here with us now. What more are you hearing from inside the entertainment industry now?
That endorsement from Olivia Rodrigo was huge, Kate, as young voters are going to be key in this race. But what I can tell you is Hollywood is in. They are re-energized after feeling disillusioned with Biden. And you're absolutely right. Celebrities were not publicly endorsing Biden because he was not a popular candidate. Well, now with Harris, I am hearing from sources that I spoke to. I spoke to publicists, agents, political strategists who are working with celebrities. They all feel like Harris is the right candidate at the right time. In fact, a major television producer, Greg Berlanti, had to tell me this. He said, quote, "I haven't seen so many people that I know here and elsewhere so enlivened by a moment in politics since Obama's original convention speech." So that is the level of enthusiasm that we are seeing in the entertainment industry, Kate, comparing it to the Obama years, which of course were huge celebrity-friendly years. Now today, I hear that the Harris campaign has organized a briefing with the entertainment industry. Celebrities will be on that Zoom. They want to talk to them about how they can support because phones have been ringing off the hook with the campaign. Now, lastly, what I will tell you, it's very early for the convention, but I do hear that when it comes to the DNC, that there are pop stars who are interested in performing already.
A lot that needs to get worked out in a very short amount of time now for that convention. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Sarah?
All right, new info shows some Gen Z Democrats are also energized now that Biden has left the race. A CBS YouGov poll found 42% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they're more excited to go to the polls now. Let's talk about this with DeNora Getachew, the CEO of DoSomething, a young activist and service group. All right, within hours of announcing, we saw Harris all over social media, not from something that she necessarily did, but it was, the brat memes that were suddenly everywhere. You couldn't avoid them. Explain how this caught on with Gen Z voters so quickly.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on, Sarah. I think it's such an exciting time, right? DoSomething is the hub for young people and their activism and service. And what we can say is that we've seen a stark difference in Gen Z voters, right? Earlier this year, what we heard them say is only about 21% of them were excited about participating in this election. And of course, our work is to get Gen Z to turn out to vote. And what we're seeing now is that young people are excited. As you just mentioned, that YouGov poll, we're seeing the same thing with our members. Gen Z voters are ready to come out, they're ready to vote, and they're energized about what's at stake in this election in new and exciting ways. And the numbers are in their favor, right? So when you think about Gen Z and millennial voters, they make up about 49% of the electorate this year if they all register and turn out to vote. There's almost 41 million new members of Gen Z who are eligible. And as you noted, they are focused on social media. That's where they're getting their news from. They're really thinking about memes and how they can engage. And so this whole brat notion and the notion of pop culture and this being the summer, if you will, of cool, easy breeze, but also getting things done is the epitome of what's going to be at stake from now until the election day.
There's always a lot of talk in every election about young voters, and they don't tend to come out like the older voters. What do you think will get them there? How many of them can cast their ballots now?
That's the crux of the matter. And I often talk about the importance that Gen Z and millennials, for that matter, are going to play in this election cycle. Like I mentioned, there are 41 million new eligible Gen Z voters, just 8.3 this year alone. And if they turn out at the rates that they did in 2020, the last presidential election, they're going to make up about 37% of the electorate. That's nothing to sneeze at, especially when you think about the fact that they think about issues intersectionally. They care passionately about climate and sustainability, about healthcare and reproductive justice in particular. They care about mental health access. They care about educational equity and why their school leaders are banning books and why they're taking away access to information. And this is a generation that cares passionately about their safety and well-being and the pervasive threat of gun violence in our community. And so what I'd say is, in this election, what it's going to come down to, what it's going to motivate young people to turn out to vote, is making sure that the candidates are talking authentically, whether that's on social media or in person, about the issues that matter most to Gen Z voters.
Just quickly here, what are some mistakes that can be made by campaigns when trying to use social media to lure new voters?
Listen, Gen Z is amazing in that they can see through the nonsense, right? So they know when you're putting online inauthentic memes, when you're not speaking in your first person self. And so my advice to all the candidates is campaign in the modern era authentically. Meet Gen Z where they are, and millennials for that matter too. Don't do things that actually aren't what you do in the normal day-to-day life, right? What I want to tell you is make sure that you're showing up as your true and authentic self, but also make sure you're meeting the young people where they are, right? Because that's what they want. They don't want stale memes. They don't want you pretending you know about the cool trends. They actually want to know that you are understanding the current trends, and that you're talking to them in a language that makes sense, right? So no pop culture incorporated into what you're doing, but in the lens of your voice.
DeNora Getachew, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not cool, so I'm not going to try it.
It always works being cool, Dad. Hey, right on, bro. Great show.
Chill, man.
Bro. All right, thank you all for joining us, bros. This has been CNN News Central.